just based on the title and be like, oh my God, XRP, he's telling me that it's just going to crash. That's not what I'm trying to say here with the title. I want to emphasize why I put that in the title. Everybody keeps asking me, I keep getting messages about the fact that, do I buy XRP? Where do I buy XRP? If you were going to buy XRP, just at least make sure that we're not getting rejected on the out. Well, this doesn't look good in the 4-hourly, but at least make sure that it doesn't get rejected. Here, that looks better in the 2-hourly. That it's not getting rejected here. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Like, if you're going to buy it, especially in the short term, everybody, what do I need to do? Make sure it gets back above that resistance. And then that first area, we could flip the bullish here this morning in a very quick way. The fact that we didn't get siphoned into this liquidity zone all the way down for that 5.87% drop. We got out of that, which is good news this morning. The fact that now I can extend this out and kind of go into a channel, which also makes me feel a little bit better. We didn't know this until that last drop that just happened. So this actually makes me feel a little bit like, okay, well, let's see what we do here. I understand that the wider pattern is still in play because we can take this out. I want to leave that uptrend so that you can see how it was. But then let's kind of meet it in the middle now and see what it's trying to do here. You know, let's see what XRP is trying to do. Better yet, we merge this pattern down and we go, okay, well, let's see if we can get past that break point. If we get past there, we formed a descending wedge, which is actually could form into a very bullish reversal here this morning quickly. So never, ever, 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 ever be deceived by a title. Even though it might be in the moment, the pattern evolves very quickly. If this breaks out of here, this could go from a very bearish setup into a very nice bullish push this morning. So once again, the value of being here in real time, the value of seeing something evolve. And if I was a betting man this week, if this breaks out, I'm saying XRP would probably go up to not just $1.56. That would be the first step. But this could be our chance to move up to that $1.77 range. Make sure to hit that like button. I would really, really greatly appreciate your guys' support with that factor. I need to finish this, but I need to find my phone because it's urgent that I find my phone as well. But I'm kind of not even ready to do the live. But, oh, it's on the floor. It's not that I'm not ready to do the live. I am. But sometimes in real time, you got to interrupt what you're doing. And in this moment, I can't let you guys just looking at the title being like, this is not a good buy. Oh, it very well could be. It just, please wait until we verify this breakout. That's all. If you're going to buy it inside the box, get outside the box. You ride this breaks out, guys. And guess what? Where's my hat? Would that make it feel better right now? Let me get my hat. We break out of this, ladies and gentlemen. At least we get a decent start to the week. Oh, it's $1.53. Some will say, Tom, it's only $1.53. Yes, but that $1.53 gets us back up to this retest. Where the hell is this at? Gets us back to this retest right here, which is what we desire at $1.56. And is that not a reversal to the top side? So then we take it one step at a time. We break out of that. And if that is some kind of short-term descending wedge that's forming, and we get out of here and we don't have to come down into that liquidity siphon, we get over $1.56 and we start pushing $1.77. You get over $1.77, the ball game changes. It's that simple. Because then you start pushing 203. This is irrelevant until you get down to 90-something cents. That $1.77 on that chart's irrelevant. Not that that chart's irrelevant because it's actually the grandstanding pattern. If you take it out a little bit farther, got to get over $1, right? It's just that same area. So a lot to watch this morning. I'm very excited about what's developing here for all of us in real time. Aren't you guys excited? Can get a little excitement. We talked about if it was a V-shaped recovery, it wouldn't go straight up and you get some consolidation. Got a little bit of consolidation now. Consolidation. Now, the one thing that I will preface this and still proceed with caution, obviously, and I'm not a financial advisor, so you proceed however you want. XDC did come down, but could we argue that now XDC, even though it pushed up, I know. Let's take it from the wick. Let's take it from here. Because I don't want to have an uptrend, or I don't want it to go, maybe we could do a little bit like that, but I'd rather get that downward trajectory and then start to do something like this. And then we can see in real time, okay, what is actually going on? Like, are we screwed? Or are we, for the first time in a while, starting to build like this descending consolidation? I don't know. We're going to find a lot out about XDC. And that's going to tell us a lot about the grand pattern. Now, maybe, just maybe, this isn't finished yet. We don't have the data. Actually, you know what? Fuck the data. We'll make up our own. What if we went frisky? And we went from this wick. Sometimes you got to make sense of what you're seeing. The only way I can make sense of this right now in the 2-hourly is it did this. Come on back. And then we got something like this. You got the top wick to resistance, came back down, right, I don't know, somewhere right here. Then it hit this resistance, down, resistance, down, resistance pile cluster. Maybe we could squeeze this zone. I kind of like this, squeezing it. Forcing XDC to be squeezed here, and it had a, it's got just a wild volatility. I kind of like that. Because that forces this one way or the other very quickly. And then if it was meant to be a bullish pattern, it would hold this and break out. Interesting. Interesting. I don't mind going in that route today, actually. Something tells me that we're probably not so bearish to start the morning. Unless we break down this pattern. I mean, it's set up in a way I don't want. I'm saying if we can break up out of this, it wouldn't be so bearish this morning. But right now, you're absolutely looking bearish until we can break above it. So I kind of wanted to give some people some happy jollies as their nuts feel like they're about to fall off as well. I'm sorry, it's the family-friendly show. As their emotions start to scatter downward. So good morning. 9:57 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, February 9th, 2026. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. And I reside in the great state of Michigan just when you thought it was falling away. XRP comes back this morning. Now is it back testing a symmetrical triangle breakdown? Is it holding a wider pattern descending wedge that's formed a little bit later here? And this pattern in front of you absolutely does not help the case for a descending wedge, but it is there. I just simply have to do this. And then we can say, hey, at what wasn't looking so good. You see why no matter what narrative you want to fill, you got to fill it. But why you have to show every narrative so you can see why. It's not just, okay, we're coming to the top of this descending wedge resistance. If that's in fact what it formed, because we're also coming up to where the symmetrical triangle broke down as resistance. So it's not just that we're trying to break out of this resistance in the pattern itself. It's also that descending wedge meets where the symmetrical triangle breakdown was. So the symmetrical triangle breakdown meets the descending wedge resistance. So that's how you know. Is this going to be a grand pattern reversal? And these are the kind of spots I like. Honestly, confidence went a little bit up. Confidence this morning went up a little bit. That's all you need to know. Now, how do they take away confidence? Well, what did I tell you guys yesterday about the NFL? Seattle by 14 or more, lock it up. I even put a post on Facebook. Seattle by 14. I knew. I looked at the analytics. There was a hidden bet there, and I shared it with everybody. And it was a design. What had to happen was Stephon Diggs had to have a horrible game. He did. Drake May had to look like a bum. He did until the end. Had to be a low-scoring game it was just the way it was set up. It was a hidden bet. A lot of people were betting on the Patriots plus 4.5. And they were trying to take them as the underdog bet. It didn't make any sense. So there was some money on the side. It's all about, you just got to look where the money's flowing. In Vegas, it didn't seem like they would win because the majority was betting Seattle to win overall. There was more money on Seattle to win. And there was more money on Seattle. People were laying the points too if they were betting that way. But there was a bunch of money bet on New England. And New England with the points from that fan base, in the underdog bet. And also, in a low-scoring game, there was a ton of money bet on Drake May and bet on Stephon Diggs and that whole offense. And there was just a hidden bet there. So I said it was going to be 14 or more. And that the score was going to be like 27, what did I say? 27, I don't remember what I said. 27-13. And then if it was going to be a 10-point game at minimum, 27-17. But we were leaning towards, well, I put 14. That was my call. But I was just showing the scenario with 10 as well. I don't even remember what the game ended. I didn't watch the whole game, to be honest. Not going to lie. I turned it off. At halftime, with that halftime show, I'm not watching that satanic bullshit. I shut it off. I didn't even bother to watch the rest, if I'm being honest. But, you know, that's neither here nor there, but I'm not going to watch that shit. You can trick the kids, but when you start showing me the satanic nonsense, I'm not watching that. You can take the second half and shove it up your ass, is how I felt. So anyhow. Oh, I don't even know if anybody's commenting. You know, I think I like it better this way, because then I can just talk freely. And whether people are coming or going, I don't know. I really don't know. I might have offended somebody with the Super Bowl, or maybe they like that nonsense we've seen at halftime. Let's see. Joe America, hey Tom, a buddy of mine recommended your channel to me. As someone who isn't familiar with the lingo, could you break down some simple bullet points for what a novice should be watching for? Whew, that's great. Volume, first thing. Volume. Now, if we get a breakout, and this is I'll go over some of this. I'll go in a little bit of deeper detail once I sit back down. I just had to knock this last part of this out. I was doing this for an hour and 10 minutes, and it's like, I'll be damned if I don't finish the last part. Fuck, that looks nice. I'm not going to lie. That looks really nice right now. The volume don't look very good, but this is going to be a volumeless push up. I can almost guarantee it. If it does break out, it's not going to be one with volume. That's going to be the trap. Now, if that breaks out, I have a similar feeling. And yeah, is it a gamble in these spots? You better freaking believe it. But I like gambling. No, like not like go to the. Well, I do like going to the casino. I haven't been there in a while, but and I like gambling. And when the odds don't seem like they're in your favor, but you have to read between the lines and know the numbers. Like last night, the consensus wouldn't have said that a 14 or more point victory was good for Vegas, because guess what? All the money was on basically Seattle having a dominant win if you were outside of New England. But what it wasn't accounting for was a low-scoring game by New England and them looking like trash on offense, and that whole side of the bet going to the wayside. So it had to work in a particular way. And every single scenario I ran through Gemini, there was too much money that Vegas was going to lose. Even a 5-point win or two, there was too much money. It had to play that one. The only scenario where Vegas literally cleaned up and took like 70% of the money on the night laid was the way I set it up. And I'll be damned, man. If you know the script by the numbers, it always follows it. So with XRP, the script is, and like H-bar and the rest of them, are they breaking out of what looks like a symmetrical triangle? XRP broke down this initially, but this is wider. The one we had for XRP was shorter. VeChain, same. I mean, they're. Oh, wait a minute. VeChain's a little different. They're starting to get frisky. We might get frisky this morning. Okay, I'm all for it. Let's get frisky for once. We never get frisky. The only frisk we ever get is to the downside. So let's see. Are we going to get reject? Because this is the symmetrical triangle that technically broke down. So are we going to get frisky this morning? Or are we coming up for rejection here, ladies and gentlemen? Because I would like to think we're getting frisky, because you could say shoulder, head. Oh, so frisky shoulder. And then when we look back and it does this and we go, how didn't we know? Well, damn it, we should have known this. It was divining a real nice shoulder. But that's only in a good scenario. The bad scenario said, and it just comes down. I don't know, though. I'm more inclined to, maybe this is just wishful thinking, because makes for more compelling show when it actually is going good. But I don't know. It could be something. I think that there could be something developing here, ladies and gentlemen. Very secretly, there could be something developing here. I'm just saying. Getting a little excited. My antenna's going up. Look at that. Right back into the symmetrical triangle. Almost to the wall. We just need one push. One little push here. And it made sense that it came down when it did because the U.S. was waking up. Unless they're going to do it now. But the U.S. woke up and it went right down here this morning, which was good to see. If we get that little... be about a 6% move this morning. Everybody be happy. We'll be sitting here going, oh, baby. Which means the rest of them will do the same. Make no mistake about it. And these are technically neutral continuation patterns. And it's the fact we have a shoulder, head, shoulder. I'm going to be willing to at least lay the fact that a 78% probability that this will... Nah, I can't go that high right now because it's at the bottom. 72% probability that this comes up to like 10.9. Now, if it breaks down, there's an 85% chance, you know, we're going down about 10%. If it breaks this structure or we get rejected on the pushback on some of these. XRP, the rest of them, I'm telling you, this is so close to a breakout here. It's gonna make your head spin. Man, that volume. If we can get any volume, if we get any kind of fake volume, even we'll take fake volume. Fake volume for 75. Fake volume. Take any volume. Just no sells. Turn the sells off, and it looks like that's exactly what they've done this morning. Because I would have to be willing to bet the fear and greed index is not looking very good right now. Oh, what the fuck? Went up to 14. Ah. Excuse me. I can't believe this. 14. Lonzo, you got a great paying job. You're ready to get back to your dollar cost average. I am so proud of you. I remember when you were going through the journey. See, I knew you could. You're a smart guy. Congratulations, Lonzo. Lonzo's been here for a very, very, very long time. You know, it's like you want to get excited about the market, but it's got to, if it makes this final push, I'm not saying long-term excited. I'm saying, do we want a micro? But you can't do anything yet. Don't buy yet. If you're going to buy, don't buy yet. Buy the breakout. For God's sake, if there's anything you can get out of that title, don't buy until we can break through that symmetrical triangle that we broke down out of. Now we're back in it. So it could have been a fake down, but now we're back probably outside of the bottom. So I'm going to teach you good principles here, whether you want to hear it or not. Hey, Tom, it's about to break out. You sure? Just make sure. It's like I always say, don't count your chickens before the partners are even born. Sometimes you got people so far out ahead. You know, it's almost like when people are buying stuff. I used to be this person, so I'm allowed to say this. I used to be this dum-dum. I had no clue how to read a chart. But then I'm looking at it. How many of you have looked at stocks? And like, oh, I like this sector. Not understanding analysis or technicals. And you look at the sector and you go, hey, this one's kind of cheap. I'm not buying that one. It's $50. This one's only 88 cents. And then you would buy it and you're like, you have no idea why you bought it. Sounds like a good price. I can get a lot more shares of that gas company than that other one at 50. Well, the problem was that I bought some Istanbul gas company out the basement of somebody in Africa, or, you know, Istanbul. And the other one happened to be consumers. Even though those aren't the real prices, I'm just saying, that's the point. You're like, oh, well, fuck consumers. I know they're paying a nice dividend and they're up over the last 20 years, X amount. And this company looks like they were made out of somebody's basement in Istanbul with a fake USA address. Yeah, that sounds good. 88 cents a share. Who gives a crap about the mechanics? That's how people buy crypto. Give me a meme token that's going to go 37%, and then it clouds my judgment because now I think all utility tokens are supposed to do the same damn thing. How about that? You know, so, whew, that felt good. You know, that's only the second time I think I've ever lifted weights on the show. Ironically, it's like 2 out of the last 3 lives. No, that's not true. That was on Friday. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Excited about class number 3 today. If you're interested in knowing more about that, click on the video description below and or pin comments on this very live. Oh, it's gonna be a fun one. Don't get too excited here yet. So stay even keel. You sit back. You make sure whether this is real or not. And we try to see if we're actually going to break out. Now, I like to have the most evidence I can possibly have. So, you know, I try to get every little piece of information that I knowingly know how to get. You know, it's not always it doesn't always make me feel good when I start looking at stuff. Like, I would like to see a volume spike. I would like to see, but at least we push back up within the symmetrical wall. We can have a little more room here too, because this is supposed to be wider. Or maybe it's not supposed to be as wide. So we're still within it. We really want to hold that. Like, no doubt. We really want to hold this. Unless, I mean, it's such a tough spot because personally, I would prefer for this to break down as quickly as possible if we're going to go to 86 cents. Only because I know the higher we go, if we're actually going to go to 86, the more people we're going to trap every step of the way up. Even if it's just to go to $1.57, I know by my heart that a lot of people are about to get trapped here, especially if we do go down. Now, if we don't go down, that's one thing. I tried to lay this out the best I could yesterday about this liquidity box. As long as we don't drain ourselves, even if we come all the way down there, it's still fine in this pattern. And now because it's formed almost like, looks like a descending wedge to me. Now, does that mean we have to come back down here a third time to confirm it at $1.36 or $1.34? That's the question we don't know this morning. If I'm being honest, we won't know that question. And we can't technically confirm the pattern until we get a third hit down there. We just got a third hit over the top. So, I don't know. That's the conflicting part this morning. It just tells me don't buy this pattern until you get the confirmation on the breakout. That's all. Otherwise, it came up, tapped it, and then we might be licking our wounds early in the morning. And we know, in the morning, I mean, let's be honest. Everybody taking their shower and stuff, seeing the market get a little bit of green. They're driving to work. They're going, oh, my God. When I was taking my shower, it was red. I get in my car, I shave, I take a shit, whatever you got to do in the morning. Sorry, take a crap. I don't know. What's the appropriate word? What the hell was his name? Mr. Hanky? Yeah, you did a Mr. Hanky in the morning? For my fans of South Park, that back in the earlier days. Anyhow, it's, well, the point is we're in a spot right now where you gotta let it do what it's gonna do. It looks like something could be setting up here. Oh, yeah, or make a bagel, like Bounce Back said. Oh, Bagel Gate. Yep. Hard lesson learned in, what was that, 23? Wasn't in the position I'm technically even in now, because every year since in investing, it's progressing slowly but surely. But that was a easy money, easy go, easy come, easy go kind of thing. Doing stupid leverage at higher leverage. I think it was like 20x, 18. It was between 18 and 22, so it was nothing crazy, I don't think. Well, I mean, that still is crazy. That's a big gamble. But I know 500 was at like 3,000, and by the time I made the bagel, it was gone. That was the day in 23 when Bitcoin dropped $10,000 in like 45 minutes. It was not good. It was quick. Anyhow, Mom just says time to lock in and know what you hold. What did Warren Buffett say? If you own a great asset and it goes low, buy more, as fundamentals haven't changed. And if it goes lower, buy even more. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I had $1.18 if it held there. That was an opportunity to at least see if it rides back up into that drop at the descending triangle like that. I mean, I know it's only a swing trade for some, but it's good fundamentals too to start. Even if you don't buy, try to, map it out and be like, okay, this is where we could in fact drop. That kind of thing. So it's a tricky thing right now, though. Like I said, the pattern is it's deceiving because it's making it look like it was breaking down out of a symmetrical triangle, but that very breakdown led us into a bullish consolidation, that descending wedge. So unless that wedge breaks down, we're technically bullish right now in the short term. I'm just saying, a descending wedge is very bullish on a push up into a consolidation. And you guys can tell me, I'll pull it out. No, this isn't OnlyFans. I'll pull out a chart. Not Mr. T. To keep it nice. But the falling wedge. Looks like a falling wedge. And that looks bullish to me. I mean, a falling wedge. Now, the only question is, do we fill it out all the way through? It's on illusion. That's the best I could come up with in such short notice. It's cold. Anyhow, falling, again, not OnlyFans. Falling, I should, only charts? Is that what this is? Yeah, this is only charts. But if XRP keeps going down, I might have to have OnlyFans. We'll call it the Top Hat Academy with presenting Mr. T. But the falling wedge pattern, so you're in a rising... Can't believe it. We will, only friends, I like it. Charts are selling. Carl, thanks for being in top zone for over 1 year at the I Told You So Bad. Who says you can't laugh and have a good time? We're just having a good time here. Just having a good time. You know, it's funny, I was playing my son's drums, and I'm a good drummer. And I started to realize, like, holy crap, I forgot I could do all these stupid things. I should play it for you guys, just to piss you off. Here, Julie, in the background, did you say something? I think she's taking a nap right now. She was up early. Let's see. Waiting for XP to drop. Waiting for XRP to drop from Mr. Hanky so I can throw some more money at it. That's actually a pretty nice parallel because, you know, the TP and now we're throwing away basically currency, which is, you know, basically toilet paper. Oh, it's beautiful. Hope we can stay in this range or lower this month. It seems like with this falling wedge, guys. Now, that doesn't mean we can't come. Now, again, that doesn't mean we can't come down here and tap it again. Because a lot of times in the wedge, if it is happening, and you'll see it, but not always. Not always. Like this, not always will it do this, but a lot of times you'll see support 1, resistance 1, support 2, resistance 2, support 3, throw them off the trail, boom, break out before it stops at resistance 3. Sometimes, though, you get a lot of built-up aggression, and you'll just break out. So we'll see. Because a lot of times it's this movement right here where everybody thinks it's going to break out, and then they drop it here. Back test at, ironically, $1.34 in this case. Again. For real this time. I'm just curious. What kind of fall off would that be? If it falls down there and holds, that's where you would buy. To try to push $1.56. And then you have minimum risk. Because then you're playing it down to the liquidity box at $1.33 roughly. And then if it breaks that, I mean, there's really no reason to hold it. It would break the integrity of the structure. Even if it broke down past here, it would break the integrity. But weird wicks happen, and you have to account for them. So, you know, you don't want to count your blessings before they happen, kind of thing. Sorry, my mom texted me, but it was just good stuff. Ah, fucker. Anybody ever get a nail? Well, unfortunately it came off. I know everybody has a nail, but when it, like, must have been when I was working out. Damn workout part. And Ethereum matter. Yeah, Ethereum does matter for alts. Ethereum does matter for halts. And yeah, unfortunately, certain things that we located yesterday, we talked about the rising wedge for Ethereum, and it broke down out of it initially. It had a rising wedge here, and it technically broke down initially. We covered this yesterday. We were going through it, remember, on the heat map, and I'm like, wait a minute. Is that a rising wedge out of Ethereum? And I went to the pattern, remember when we did this? And I'm like, son of a... I'm like, well, there's a rising wedge on Ethereum. We did this yesterday in the live last night. Whoever said there was a rising wedge, good eye. And it technically was a rising wedge. It broke down. And it's interesting what developed there because that's a short-term rising wedge. And it technically has not, invalidated this by even a close margin. And the technical drop down for me, it's not even hit yet. It was 1,974. So would that give the reasoning for XRP to come down to that support we were talking about near $1.34? If Ethereum breaks down? I don't know, guys. What would Extra Bod say? Forget all the logic. Just pay attention to the Ripple news. Forget the charts. It's going to infinity. And beyond. Buzz Lightyear. Anyhow. You might be hearing what you want to hear or what you don't want to hear, but I'm telling you this is what you need to hear. It really is. It really, really is. Because just knowing this yesterday when XDC had a 3.7% burst, if you were just watching the live, you wouldn't have bought it while it was having the burst after the live. Because now it actually set up more evidence for us. We have a top wick. Now we get to at least see this pattern. We get to actually see what it's envisioning. That's the envisioning. If this is bullish, it's forming some kind of like descending wedge-ish. I don't know. But if it's bullish, it's not going to break this pattern to the downside. It'll break it to the upside. And if this breaks to the upside, oh, Lord have mercy. Because it's going to continue this movement. It's going to be another roughly 20 to... Well, you got a lot of things playing in your favor. You have this expanding, broadening wedge, which is bullish. Descending, broadening wedge. Expandable, broadening wedge we talked about early on back here. Only validated with the resistance there, support tug here. This is beautiful. You break out of this, I don't want to just say I'm telling you, but it gets exciting. Gets rather exciting when you start looking at this in a sense. When you start looking at this in the breakout possibility, this looks exciting. If it doesn't break down, if it breaks down, you go, son of a... Because you set up this whole thing and you know in your gut where this is going if it doesn't break down. Can I show you? And this is just the micro. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but you know where this is going if it doesn't break down. I know where it's going. Because the bull flag is the exact same size as the expandable broadening wedge on a descending expanding broadening wedge, which is a mega bullish reversal pattern. No, when I say bullish, I mean mega fucking bullish. And then people will be like, well, Tom, why don't we buy it then? Well, because it's only about an 82% probability. I would down it to about 76% because of the market timing. But at the same time, the market's got to reverse somewhere, ladies and gentlemen. So if it gets up here and actually breaks out, and it does what it needs to do out of the expanding broadening wedge, you're looking at 28% or 27%. If you wait for confirmation, but if you're a gambler, you say, that hell with confirmation. From here, it's 33%. So you're basically paying a 5% penalty to get a little more confirmation. Oh, yeah, it's a family show. I forgot. This is a family show. It's a family show. I think we've stayed within the realm. Although, some of it has gone on the bad side. Big money wants lower prices coming, basically. Well, guess what? We'll see how much they really want that in the short term, but I don't believe any of that. Honestly, my whole philosophy is all they do, it's a dog and pony show with manipulation when it comes to our mind. When it comes to our mind. See, back in the day when we were hunter and gatherers, we couldn't think too much. We were stupid because we couldn't think too much. We just had, hey, food, warmth, fire. We need something. So we didn't have a lot of time to think. So all day, every day, we're running out trying to kill these animals, trying to find some berries, do what we got to do, keep ourselves warm. Wife's at home, you know, making sure everything's good. Cook what we have because, damn, we were hunters, but we have no idea how to cook. And they're cooking. You guys, so it's a team effort. So you conserved your calories not by thinking. You didn't care about your mental health. You didn't have time to think about your health, your mental health. You were too busy going, oh my God, I'm starving. I don't care about what I'm thinking. I just need to go get some food. Nowadays, it's like, we don't have to do shit. We don't have to go hunt. If we have enough money, everything's given to us. So now instead of that, now it's an assault on your mind. Back then it was an assault on your tummy. You needed food. And now they assault your mind, so they make everybody think that your mental health is shit. They make you think that you need some kind of psychotropic. They make you think that you're weak, numb. That's what the psychotropic does to you. But that's not true. Our body's conserving calories in our brain. So our mental health becomes the most important thing. Now, the spin they use with mental health, no, your mindset. Forget the mental health. I hate that word, mental health. No, call it for what it is. We're either crazy or we're not. We are our own doing or not. See, they make it sound too nice, your mental health. No, you're crazy. We're crazy. We've gone insane. We've lost ourselves. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging what it is. If we just call it mental health, it makes it sound like, hey, he's mentally healthy. I am not mentally healthy. I'm mentally insane. That's why I'm crazy. I need help. Not from you. I need help from my Lord and Savior, Yahweh, Yeshua, Emmanuel, Jesus Christ. God, have grace on us. Show grace to mighty Marcus fighting the good fight and bearded Viking picking up extra work so that he can help fight the good fight with his son. You know, that's a real fight. That's real mental toughness. Forget all this trash about that. You want mental toughness. And if you don't have mental toughness, you're going to get weeded out. And that's what they want. It's okay, everybody. We need a mental health day. Bullshit. If you take a mental health day, you're going to be left behind. You need to find mental healthiness. That's why fitness, working out, eating better, doing stuff like this together every single day, it keeps your mind working. That's how you stay positive. The only way to keep yourself from being depressed is to forget that you're depressed by overworking yourself. That's a good thing. Jesus, Ghost, you just ran into my steel toe boot. You wanted to come in so bad that you just ran into my shit. Didn't even phase you. On the other side, better than literally, I'm wearing a steel toe boot, and Ghost runs in, and she goes head first into my steel toe boot. And then she just looks at me and runs over there to get some food. Ooh, I like that. Mental balance, the cannabis podcast. That's just from a position of we can all beat whatever we're dealing with, but we have to do it in a way, a fashionable way. Trust me, I don't create serotonin like a normal person. I had a close head injury. Frontal lobe damage on my left side. And they had me on all this crap when I was in my early 20s. Especially I broke my back, and then a few years later that happened with my head. So they're giving me all this crap. Oh, we're going to build your serotonin. Okay, listen. It took me, after 2 years, I realized what they were doing. And I was still very young. I was only like 25. And by the time I was 29, I wouldn't take anything. Like nothing. Not any medication. I wouldn't take anything. You know, I didn't care if it was pain or what it was supposed to be for. I would stop taking it. And you know what? In the beginning, you ever hear the commercial to Cymbalta with that bouncing thingy? Well, I was one of probably the case studies of it back in the day. And when you got off of that, your brain would be shocking. Like literally, I lost like 38 pounds. I laid there for a month, 2 months. No joke. Because it fucks you up in your mind. So it's like I speak from experience. I know what they're doing. Mrs. Stott, welcome in, and thanks for being in Townsend for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. What did Joe America say? And also Mr. Stott. Look at that, Mr. Stott. Mr. Stott also has the 6 months. Now you can't hold that anymore. Now I got 6 long months before you can get about, what, a week? To gloat about the 1 year instead of the... funny story. You have to be in the crowd to understand what I'm talking about. I love seeing the married couples in here. What did Joe America say? Joe America. I don't know. I kind of have the urge to hit this since my son's at school. See, normally when you're good at something, you're an expert at a lot of things. Oops. You know, sometimes you got to take the edge off. It sucks when you don't have a base or anything, but you know, but that's what we're looking at for XRP. Did you guys even know that I could do this? Julie didn't. After 12 years, she didn't know I could play the drums like this. I never bought drumsticks. She never seen it, so I bought them a couple days ago, and when I did, I go, Julie, did you know I could do this? She's like, oh my God. As everybody leaves. But oops. XRP is going to 1 million. Which one would work? Isn't it amazing how many people left? That's okay, he can leave. We're trying to wait for this to break out. So I guess it's better you leave hearing me play the drums than and it's not even the drums, it's just my son's little drums. Kid star drum kit. It's pretty cool. I kinda like it. I think I could. That sounds like ass. I better shut this off before I leave. Not what I expected to hear, but good morning. Yeah, if only I could hear my version of the song. I love it. I love it. Oh, he's doing all that with drumsticks, not Mr. T. That's too good. Again, this is not OnlyFans. Oh, you wanted to hear more cowbell? Yeah. If this thing breaks out, the drums will be the new. Tom showing us his tricks with his tips. I'm not only throwing up bricks, right, with the charts. I'm here listening while I'm driving. So, just a critique. Not bad drum fills, huh? Especially on a kid's drum. When I started doing it, I'm like, oh my God, I can still do the drum roll. And then once I did it, I'm like, let's see if I can do the fill. I'm like, oh my God, can I do the one-handed roll? I can, Julie. I didn't know I was gonna knock her socks off, but she didn't either. She walked in, and I was just playing it basic, and then when I go, Julie, did you know I could do this? When I flipped into the rolls, I could just see her staring like, I don't understand. How is he making it sound like that? Uh, I don't even know if I've ever talked about playing the drums in this show. That's so funny. Tom should challenge the game. But I'm really good with the double bass too. So like, I was raised in the metal era. Like I loved The Day to Remember, and I loved Travis Barker. So like that was my. So watching him, I'd always have like the. But I lived in a condo with my dad and like a rented place with my mom, so I could never have like a real drum set and do it. So I had to, and I taught myself. I got 1 month of lessons from my dad. I thought they were eternity. I got 1 month, so I didn't know anything, so I just kind of did it. We call that the helicopter. Yes, the helicopter. I like it. So I guess my question is, are we supposed to do anything with those microwaves up? Yes, you can. You absolutely can. Like, that's the thing. Like, you absolutely, positively can. You just have to understand the microwave. So if you're getting into something, you just got to understand what the risk reward is here. So with XRP, we're looking at something like this, and I know it's tricky, but if we break it down into the short term, it really does look like a descending wedge is starting. Now, obviously, if it wants to break down here, which could happen first, if Ethereum were to break down, it would come down here first, but we're not convinced that's going to happen until it does. You want to wait for confirmation, which should put you at about $1.45. You get on top of $1.45 and you hold, you're pushing up to about $1.56-ish. I'm going to say that this will get you up to $1.56. I don't care if this is saying $1.53. I think this would be the push to like that $1.55 or 6. No, 56, 57 actually. So you want to see that. Oh, wow. Gifted subs. I didn't even notice that. 1970 legend, our resident Buckeye down in Ohio State. Beat Michigan this year in football, but we got you back twice in basketball in 18 days, including yesterday. Who says a Wolverine and Buckeye can't be friendly? But seriously, thank you, 1970 legend, and thanks for being a very trusted mod during these lives. I can't thank you enough. 5 gifted subs and in Tom's Army for over 1 year. That's a beautiful gesture. Honestly, you don't even know how important that 5 gifted subs were. We're down like 6% in overall members of Tom's Army this month. So that actually feels good to see, to be honest with you. So thank you so much for gifting subs. Big Yin back in Tom's Army for the second month with the Dusty Dollars Crypto News. Shunshine, David Soto, and Timothy Davis in Tom's Army for their first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And that is my face superimposed on that emoji badge circa 2019. And Mr. Bo Schlangles, thank you so much for being back in Tom's Army 3+ months with the XP meter. Haven't said that name in a while, but Mr. Bo has been here for a long, long time. And I want to do a special thank you to the sponsors of this show, because as always, we have a sponsor, and that's the very members in Tom's Army with the emoji badges next to their name. That's why you're watching this ad-free today and every day during the lives, and usually after the lives are on rerun, because I am too lazy to put it into ads and support YouTube for their ad revenue. So typically everything will be ad-free, but especially during the lives themselves. So I thank you, the special sponsors of this program. No other sponsor is needed when you have Tom's Army. Unless, something comes that makes sense. Maybe old Vincenzo with Michigan Gold snow forecast. You never know. Let's see. The Cannabis Podcast, over 1 year with the I Told You So Bad, says Chuck historic Valentine's Day prices. Ooh. And we can go to our good friend AI for that.
Historically, XRP's performance on Valentine's Day has been a bit of a mixed bag, definitely more volatile relationship than steady romance. Since we're currently in February 2026, here is a look back at the price of XRP on February 14th over the last several years. XRP Valentine's Day price history.
Well, Tom, XRP never moves. It's always at the same price. Well, not really. $2.45 in 2025 and 2026 at $1.44. In 2024, 53 cents. In 2023, 38 cents. Oh, God, would I crave 2023 all over again. I have a favorite time of my life. Everybody was pissed and I'm all happy. Look at all these prices. Oh, my God. 2022, 80 cents. 2021, 58 cents. That's about when I started. Actually, it was at about 38 to 47 for the beginning. But in 25, high momentum following major institutional adoption news. 2024 on Valentine's Day, market stagnation. XRP was trading in a tight range. In 23, recovery phase following the broader 2022 market downturn, better known as the "we stole your pants" segment. 2022 and your shirt. And matter of fact, we stole your jockstrap, your belt. Hell, we couldn't even leave you with your t-shirt or your bra and panties, your underwear, your Speedo when you went swimming. It was a very, very cold scene. Yep. The portfolio certain wasn't erect. That's for sure. 2023, 38 cents, that recovery phase. 2022, high volatility during the ongoing legal battles. 2021, the start of the 2021 bull run. Heartbeat. 8 days. Done. 2-year winter. For what, about 13 days? I told you, XRP's bull runs only last 1 to 2 weeks. And then you might get a lucky consolidation for a few months that comes back to double top or partially overtake it and then just go way back down. It's an interesting thing. So historically, XRP's performance on Valentine's Day has been a bit of a mixed bag. Definitely more volatile relationship than steady romance. Since we're currently in February 2000, what the hell day is that? What, February 14th is Valentine's Day? Interesting. What day is the 14th? So the 10th is Tuesday, 11th is Wednesday, 12th is Thursday, 13th. Ooh, I'm going to see Phantom of the Opera. Or, what the hell am I seeing? Is it Phantom of the Opera on Saturday? It's the first time that Julie's stepdad ever bought me something to go with them. And for some reason, well, Julie was, look, if she got a good report card when she was in high school, all A's, I believe, or A's and B's, her mom told her that she'd buy her tickets to the Phantom of the Opera. 20-something years later, she's bought her tickets to Phantom of the Opera, and I was included. So I'll be going there Saturday. Yes, this Saturday, the Cannabis Podcast. I'm very excited about it. And then Sunday, we have to drive to Grand Rapids because my son on Monday has his appointment with the G-Tube doctor. All should be good, but we're getting it changed out, and then they're just going to make sure everything's good, doing their little test they do, and, you know. Yeah, I'm not technically a trader either. That's the problem. Joe America, I'm scared. I bought Bitcoin a few days ago for the very first time at 77 because I saw that last year. It dropped to that range and then came back. Can I ask you a question? What is it about Bitcoin that got your nuts in a jar? God, this is a family-friendly show, Tom. What is it about Bitcoin? And would you like to know a fact? I'm sorry it's a family-friendly show, but this is true. They wanted to name it, there was speculation, instead of Bitcoin. Back in the day, they wanted to name it Titcoin, and some documents have come out to support that thesis. So would you feel as good if you were owning Titcoin, if they would have named it that, just so you know? Or would you rather own a dominant force like XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, Algo? Wouldn't you like to level up? Level up, my friend. Level up. Get off Bitcoin. Oh, I can't tell you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor. You do whatever you want to do. But if you want to level up your playing game, get out of that trash. No offense. And get into the real utility of the 22nd Sentinel. What are we in? Why would you listen to me? I was born in the 19th century. Or the 1900s. But if you want to level up, you level up, sir. What the hell does this say? Oh, yeah. The XXX Ha plus V. I forgot it's a XXX Ha plus V strategy because of how low V chain went. But if you want to level up, XRP, XLM, XDC, and yes, it's inverted. It's inverted because it's coming through the front. I'm just playing with you. I'm just joking. We're just having a good time here. We're having a good time because we feel like we could possibly be going through this push up. Alts can't survive without Bitcoin, Tom, at this current time. Not now. But at some point, it's going to have to. But just because Bitcoin's going to be around doesn't mean it's the best buy in the planet. I'd rather hold a utility token than Bitcoin 9 times out of 9 and 11 out of 10. Bet you thought I was going to say 9 times out of 10. But no, that's the truth. I think all of these alt tokens, if Bitcoin's doing what it's going to do on this next leg, they're going to go so much better and faster and higher. Bitcoin's going to be left holding their nuts. And by that's what I feel. But, you know, not everybody's going to like the utility tokens. You know, there's an argument to be made for just buying Bitcoin and Ethereum and forgetting all the rest. And there is a great argument to be made on past history. But guess what? I'm not about past history. I'm about what's about to happen with this utility phase if it does happen. If it doesn't happen, your best bet probably would be to own Bitcoin because it could come down a lot less than these utility trash tokens if that's how it played out. See how the narrative would spin with everybody? These are the great utility tokens. If it breaks down, these are piles of trash. I just think it's much like when you look at XRP. For Bitcoin to double, it would have to be like 150K for anybody to get 100%. For anybody to get 100% on XRP, it'd have to be over, you know, about $3. And then I look at XDC. For anybody to double on XDC, it has to be 7 cents. What's more likely, a 7-cent XDC or a $3 XRP? In the current environment, like, just what's more enticing? Is it more enticing a $3 XRP or a 22-cent or 30-cent XLM? Better yet, is it more enticing a $3 XRP or an 18-cent H-bar or a 1.5-cent V-chain? V-chain, I'm telling you right now, when it finally breaks out of this, if it does, and right now, obviously, it has to break back above this nonsense. But if these were to break out, this would have been a trap here, as we were saying. That this isn't actually breaking down. This is a trap by design. And it actually forms its more bullish setup. If this, I believe V-chain, if he says, if and when it breaks out, V-chain, when we finally get back into a power move, V-chain's going to have one of the biggest moves on board out of anything you can possibly pick. The question is, where the hell does it start? I mean, let's just be realistic. V-chain, I bet you not a lot of you thought you were buying it at 0.0, unless you were watching the show. But I can make the argument that it not only is inside of there, but it's in a falling channel. It's formed a right shoulder now, tapping that support. We could be on the cusp here of a very quick reversal in the market. Now, the only question we continue to have is it early? Is it early within this moment because of what happened with Ethereum? But I would not be so sure that Ethereum, that wasn't far enough for it to come up. Like, even if you pull this back, which I don't necessarily like to do because the rising wedge like this is why it broke down. But as this starts to develop here, I mean, we could start to make an argument here that it's going to start to shake back the other way a little bit. And we got a tap here, a double tap here. Now, if it does reverse, but it's got to have to prove it to us. It's going to have to prove it to us. Now you have this stationary movement, and this is how it evolves. We looked at it in the micro, but now with the evidence, and it is evidence nonetheless, you can go like this. Like, okay, well, you can either look at it one of two ways. This isn't now, unlike what we've seen in the other chart where it almost looked like a falling channel, not only, it looked like a falling channel with XDC. Ethereum, you can look at it like this and be like, okay, well, it's starting this little bit of a, we'll see what happens here. I suppose you could take it out like this and go, you know what? Forget all of that noise. Why don't we just take it for something like this? And I could understand that too, but not. So, I mean, there's a lot of things you're looking at. And I don't necessarily think, unless it breaks down that Ethereum, the rest of the market, you can't just say it's breaking down or breaking out. We still have a lot of levels over the top we could retest. I think a lot of this could be a lot of noise, but we won't know until it breaks out of these setups. Don't a lot of people lose a lot of money on lesser known coins? You hear horror stories of coins going to zero. Absolutely, but that's why you have to know what utility is. That's why you're here. I don't sugarcoat anything, so you're going to know the truth. I'll tell you if a token's a pile of shit. You know? I will. You need utility, and you got to find the price. That's where retail comes in. They want you as exit liquidity. That's why my title is the way it's designed this morning. Don't get trapped until it's time to get trapped, kind of thing. Don't get in until it's time to get in. Look how many times it's pushed out here this morning. Up and down, up and down, up and down. But until it breaks out of the setup, one, it broke down out of a symmetrical triangle earlier. Two, more recently, it broke out of a smaller descending triangle. So now we just need it, or a symmetrical triangle. So now we just needed it to break up and back in, which it did. But at the same time, it's got to get back over this little area, which it's trying, just to try to retest that $1.56 breakdown out of the descending triangle up there. Broke down out of symmetrical triangle. Now descending triangle. We might back test. Looks like a setup where we should. We're riding that liquidity box perfectly if we wanted to not break down. We went in there briefly, came back out like we should have. Formed that descending wedge like we should if we want to break bullish. I mean, I'm not seeing, like right now I'm seeing a lot of things. Nah, despite my personal feelings, Cardano is very much not a shit coin, unfortunately. Cardano is basically the cheaper version of XRP with similar kind of setup, just not as advanced and not as good in my opinion. They don't have the central banking deals that XRP does. However, they have a big utility across the world, and they are an ISO token to the core, utility to the core. So not shit token, actually quite the opposite. Desired token if you're looking for cheap utility tokens. But you have to, again, it's all about the right pricing. You know, everybody who says XRP's a pile of crap that owns it, bought it in the bull market. And everybody identifies themselves every time they say that. Just say you bought the top. That's okay. It's a learning experience. I used to buy tops because I was an idiot. Not in crypto, but in other assets before I learned. When I was a younger trader. It happens. I used to say the same crap. It's not my fault. It's manipulated. They halted. All this. But the signs were there before it even happened. Juan, good welcome in, my friend, and thanks for being in town for over 1 year with the I Told You So bit. Says, all-time low according to January 2025 report. XLM hit an all-time low against XRP at 13.5 per XLM. Today is 0.11. This means XLM has never been weaker against XRP than this level. Absolutely. That's a great insight, Juan. I didn't realize that it was at that level, but I knew that the margin is way, way off right now. That's why I have the XLM XRP pairing. And when you look at it historically, where it's at, and when it had this breakdown, technically we've been a little bit lower in the pairing. Not much. But this weekly or monthly pattern does not feel good right now. Obviously. There's still a lot of time left in the month. It could even come back down and form like a doji reversal. But right now, the way it's set up looks like hell. Monthly's breaking through the resistance and the stochastic. Weekly's pushed up. But again, the only time we've ever been lower was at 10.1 on the XLM XRP pairing than where we're at in this cycle. We're at 11.1 right now. So I know we've been lower than 11.1, barely, by about 10%. I think it was about 10%, Juan. $8.9, something like that. It's a very interesting point you make, Juan. Over 90% of alts never reclaim their all-time high. Now, I don't expect them to. That's why I say quit. We all need to quit thinking about all-time highs when we make a purchase with what is an XRP. Because let's face it, V-Chain's at 007. To think it's going to go back to all-time highs, I'm just saying, to think it's going to go back here as a guarantee at 28 cents, if that's the case, why aren't you buying it right now? It's at 007. So when I look at this now I can't do it from 009. That's way too far off. That's not going to give us a proper reading. I can't live with that. It's over the top. I'd rather be over the top just a little bit. That's fine. So to think it's going to go all the way back to all-time highs, why aren't you buying it? That's a 37x move. That's 3,700%. To put that in perspective, if you spend $1, it turns into 37. If you spend 100, it turns into 3,700. If you spend 1,000, it turns into 37,000. If you spend 10,000, it turns into, well, 370,000. If it goes back up there. My question would be, why are you not buying it right now then? Because what will end up happening is a lot of people won't buy it here, and they'll come back on in a few weeks and say, Tom, or a few months when the market actually starts to shuffle, and they'll go, Tom, I bought V-Chain. I thought I was getting a good deal at 6 cents, or I bought it at 2 cents when it's starting to make that differential, and it's like, well, 2 cents is great in yesteryear, but in recent history, V-Chain, and I'm doing this for a reason so you can see something, can't come down here. Can't come all the way down there. It's impossible. So at some point, this is going to have to make some movement. So what I would do in this case, because it can't come all the way down there, is I would cut it off like this. You got to cut it off like this. Although, I kind of think that's intriguing to look at. Never mind. Fuck it. Oh, I'm sorry. Family Friendly Show. The Fugazi is upon us. So it can't come down here. Well, it can't come down to here. It can't fill this whole thing out. So the floor would be down to 0, 0, like 2, maybe 1, 0, 0, 0, 9. Oh my God, if that happened. Jumping off a cliff. Because then you'd legitimately go from, your bull season would probably be from here to here. That's a 10 freaking X if it did that. Lord have mercy. But the point is, if it breaks out of this consolidation, you don't have that longer term target right now. You don't even need to work. That's not even in the stratosphere for V-Chain right now. Best case scenario out of this pattern, and then if you break above, you break above. The best case scenario now we're looking at would be about a 9-cent move. Forget everything else you've seen. Based on this consolidation, and it could be lower. Let's say it takes a while to get over here. It breaks out somewhere over here in May. Still about 11 or 9 cents. But let's just say that's the target, because sometimes when you break down, that becomes your bull season. You break out of here and you're going bullish. Well, that's a 400% move. Great, right? But if you identify this pattern as that being the support and you buy it in the box, especially lower to that wedge area, because it can't go much farther than that. Really can't. Oh, it's got its balls in a vice here. It can't really go much farther. Now, based on what I said, how did you get Algo at 22 cents will never make any money? I don't understand that. Because Algo all-time highs is well over $2, about $3, right? So at 22 cents, even if we went down to 5 cents and we had a 10x move, it would go up to 50 cents. You'd be within the range. You just wouldn't make as much. But that's why you got to be careful about when you buy something and say, well, the all-time highs are way up here. Well, that's irrelevant. We're not at that cycle is never going to happen again that way. So this has been screaming at us since the beginning of time that the best buy for Algo, which I've been screaming from the rooftops, is when you get down here to that support. It's the best buy in town. And will it come down there? Nobody knows, but it did come down to 8 cents. That's only 7% away from that 7.3. So the best buy in town, if it holds this structure that it's been in its all-time history, is 7.3. If it breaks the all-time structure, guess what? Crypto died. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. With the Clarity Act, crypto officially died. And now we're going to trade in the below par ranges, which means it could come down here to double zeros, come back up here for an 800% move, shuffle within. Maybe you have a little bit of a, hey, let me finesse you a little bit. Yeah, never is definitely a long time. I won't even be here for the never. We'll be long gone. Well, our time will have passed and we'll be back with our holy, our Lord and Savior, our Creator by then. Remember when we spoke about the fact that we had the shoulder, head, and when these were up here, we said now we'd have to drop down if they're bullish and break a shoulder? Because now you get the 3 parts in here. This is what it needed to do because it started off high. They always do this, it feels like, if they're going to break out. I don't know. I'm just reading between the lines here and looking to say, what can happen. We already know the breakdown. The good news is Bitcoin got on top of this resistance. Like, that's the other part of this. We're still in that bullish structural setup in the micro, besides what happened here. So we have a lot to deal with. Right now, do I feel happy about the fact that that rising wedge broke down? Absolutely not. And it's not going to break bullish unless it gets past her. And how convenient is it that it's in the liquidity box as well that it needs a breakthrough? So I put this up yesterday for a reason, and it's following it beautifully. I like it. But it's 11 o'clock. I got to get going. I got some stuff to do. I got a class to teach in an hour, so I want to get ready. It takes me about 45 minutes to prep. I'll start it at 11:45, not starting the actual class till 12, but we'll talk for a little bit. We'll do the back and forth, shits and giggles, so on and so forth. And I hope to see you all there. I really do. If you're not there live, that's okay because you can watch it after. This will be the third class of infinite amount of classes. As long as somebody's willing to watch it, I'm willing to teach it. Even if you're not willing to watch it in real time, if you'll watch it after, I'm willing to still do it. So I look forward to seeing everybody in there. Exactly, Juan. And with the emergences of the ETFs and things like that, you really don't even need crypto in the sense that it is now. They could privatize it, make it only for institutions, and literally do exactly what they're doing to retail when they have different exchange, where they buy it off exchanges, not on the exchanges. We buy it on the exchange. They buy it off of different ways, different on-ramps. I think the ledger has a lot to do with that too, with the way they have it set up, which is good for institutions. Not so much for us in retail right now. But yeah, there's a lot of money that found its way out, big time. Define, thanks for being a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. Very trusted in the community. And in Tom's Army for over 1 year says, Tom, my wife and daughter are going to Phantom of the Opera on Thursday. Oh, excellent. Well, I hope they have a good time. I hope they have a good time. That should be excellent. I'll be there on Saturday. Mrs. Stott will be absent for the live class. That's okay, Mrs. Stott. You can always watch it after. We'll definitely miss your presence. But I appreciate you letting me know. And I hope you enjoy it. You can always let me know after what you think about it. You better bring in note from your mouth. Absolutely. Absolutely. But have a blessed day, everybody. I really appreciate everybody. I appreciate all of the support as well. Just remember with XRP, we're trying to see if it can, in fact, break out of a descending wedge that it's formed in the immediate short term. Obviously, we've come down in the short term as well from this, but we broke back within that symmetrical triangle. And to our favor, it's formed this descending wedge, which is a bullish consolidation that it's pushing to the outside of right now. So just pay attention. We could be breaking out in real time. So we'll talk about it, more later. We'll talk about our positioning later. XDC seems to have a nice descending wedge as well. So until they break down, these look like bullish consolidations. And the way the charts are set up with the breakdown we had, we really should be going up. We're not 5 waves back up, even in an ABC. I mean, because I could argue if we're in an ABC up, that we're not even close to that finish. We've only done an AB. Because I'm serious. Like, even if you look at it as an ABC, we haven't done C. So even if you want to, even if you want to look at it like this. Whoops. And I do have to go. I really have to go, but I always have so much to talk about. So you can even do this, like, we came to support. Okay, where the hell did that go? We came to support. Boom. Consolidate. Then we have the C wave. What would we say? Somewhere here, maybe? Well, could go higher. Let's just say the C wave. So if you have an ABC movement, even if it's a corrective, and obviously it doesn't have to be that high. I was just doing it based on the setup. But that's why this looks like a B would be consolidation. So A would be the break, B would be the pullback, C would be the finalization of an ABC corrective wave. Now, if it's 5 waves up instead of an ABC, well, that's where it can get interesting, because if it's 5 waves up, that's how we can start working back up to this higher leveling up here at 5-4. Remember, that's the overall across the top. So just don't be so negative today. Say, unless it forces you.